How we doing today? Welcome to Dormal Talk. I'm Killian.
And I'm ZeroFoxGiven.
And today we have 3 stories, 2 of which have happened to me, and 1 that has happened to Killian.
Yes, you heard that right. And before we get into the story, you should know that it happened to me at an age around 4 or 5 where I could not possibly remember this myself. However, all accounts have been corroborated by my mother, father, and grandparents who were all present at the time of this haunting. It must have been sometime around the year 2000. I could only be 4 at that time. Just started being able to put some more complex words and sentences together, nothing crazy, but still young enough to require an afternoon nap. One weekend we were visiting my grandparents up in the mountains, and everything was normal. The late afternoon came and it was time for my nap. My parents put me down in a crib that was in my grandparents' bedroom that's been in the family for years. They left me there and went out into the living room to enjoy some cocktails, I imagine. I don't know what they were doing, but as they were trying to enjoy, they just heard me laughing from the other room, and I wouldn't stop. My mother became frustrated, came into the room, and asked me what I was laughing at. I said, in so many words, "There's a beautiful lady playing with me." And my mother didn't like that. That didn't sit well with her, but she knew no one else was in the house besides her, my father, my grandpa, and my grandma. However, she decided to pick me up and take me into the living room. And on our way to the living room, I pointed to a picture that was hanging on the wall, and I said, "That's her." And I pointed to a picture of my late great-grandmother.
I mean, did you ever stop to think he could have just been your grandmother? I mean, that is her mom.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, but she wasn't in the room. And there's also the possibility that my grandmother, grandfather, mom, and dad have all, teamed up on this to try and trick me. I would put it past them on account that I don't think they would do that, but that would be a heck of a joke.
Now, I will say, for the record, I'm not necessarily a skeptic, because I've had things happen to me I've seen firsthand, but I just had to play devil's advocate right there.
Sure, I have seen that picture in the frame since then, and I see it often. And every time there is something about it that does strike me. It's just one of those things when you look at old pieces of furniture or old pictures that just kind of seems to have a life of its own.
Well, here's the thing about that too that I think is kind of funny. She mentioned that they say that kids are like the more spiritually aware, but I don't recall really having anything like too haunting or spiritual like that happen when I was a kid. However, as an adult, I had a lot more.
The abandoned frat house of San Marcos, also known as Fisher Hall or Pike House.
I was living in Texas at the time, and while I was living out there in Texas, I owned this book called Weird Texas, and it was years ago before there was any big thing to do. So what I did was I would seek out haunted locations, and I would go to these haunted locations to try to see if there was anything. I went to a place called Donkey Bridge, didn't really see anything there. Abandoned frat house of San Marcos, on the other hand, when I went, I got there and we couldn't find it. It's in this area by this place called Wonderworld. There's like a weird cave, but the history with that frat house is that a lot of like demonic stuff happened in there. People would do like Ouija boards and like try to like summon spirits, these ritualistic killings and different like really messed up stuff. So we went there looking for it, and we finally found it. I was there with my friend Eddie. I was driving, he was actually recording, so we were trying to like spot it. By the time that we'd gotten out there, this place had already been demolished. We had no idea that it had been demolished. We found out when we got there. So we were gonna check out the rubble to see what's up. We started filming on the side. We had our camera completely full, like no joke, new battery, like straight off the charger, was working perfectly fine. We pulled out to start like filming where the rubble is on the drive over, and it died instantly. That was already like a red flag, but being the stupid kids that we were, we continued. We drove up to the front, We're getting ready to go into the gate, put the car in park, put my parking brake on, took my foot off the brake. We're just waiting, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go in. Now, mind you, this was at night, and it was cold. So, when I turned off the car, I'm thinking, car's hot. I hear popping coming from the engine. It's the cold. Never mind the fact that it sounded like taps on my hood, starting from right to left. You know, usually when your engine pops, it's not very sequential like that. But, you know, I'm thinking with rational brain as much as I could. Go to open my door and tell Eddie, all right, you ready? Eddie's like, all right, I'm ready. I opened the door to my car, and then sure enough, my car rolls back 12 feet. I start that sucker up, and I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. And I bolted.
No way that happened to you.
Dude, yeah, that's 100% true. Like, I lived that. That was, that was an ordeal.
I would have been out of there from the get-go. From the moment the camera battery ran dry, I would have been gone.
Dude, I didn't even know that the battery had died. Eddie told me later. Like, at the moment, he was recording, and he was just looking through. The battery died on him. And I had no idea. And I was like, all right, get the camera ready. Once we get up to the front, he goes, dude, that thing died on me. I was like, dude, that was a full battery. We had just charged it. He goes, I know.
Oh my goodness. And that is so textbook paranormal, you know?
I still don't understand, like, that. They really did not want us there. Like, the fact that my car rolled back, that was ridiculous.
Oh, my heart would have sank. I get scared on roller coasters, let alone unsolicited.
Oh, dude, I love roller coasters.
Involuntary car movements, you know, brought on by demons or ghosts.
Yeah, it's just, it's rough, but you know, that's why I turned on the car and bolted. Like, I tried to rationalize everything. He tells me the camera dies. I'm like, all right, he just didn't charge it. Is where my mind was at, even though it was fully charged. Even though I did see it, like, with the full battery at the beginning. I'm just trying to rationalize every single thing about it. Then after that, I was like, okay, so that happened. Then we get up there, I hear that tapping, I'm like, it's cold. It's just the heat, you know, reacting to the cold. That's totally normal. Hot engine, cold air. Then when the car rolled back, I was like, no, all right, no, something's telling me to leave.
There
so
was
I did.
no way, there was no chance that could have just been a little...
Dude, like, I mean, one of the things... Okay, everything together, I was like, yeah, nope, I'm out of there.
Well, I'm glad you made it out alive.
Small disclaimer for the next story. After researching it, I found the name, the Bexar County Boys Home, and at no point was it ever an insane asylum. I say insane asylum because at the time, that's what I was told, that's what the rumors from everybody that I knew in the area had told me. Now, it also doesn't have any evidence or proof of it being a firefighter training facility. However, while I was there, as noted in the story, I found paperwork showing like how to put out fires, like determining the origins of fires, and the fact that I would find that there, to me, gives it that there had to be some truth to that, whether it was on the books or not. It was in fact an old folks home first, then it was the juvenile center, and it closed down in 1996. Now on with the story. In San Antonio, Texas, there's this haunted asylum. This place is weird as heck, and I can't remember the name of this, but I'll put it into the video and post later. But this asylum is insane. So at one point, what?
This asylum is insane.
The thing about this is, it used to be a firefighter training facility. It used to be an old folks home and an insane asylum. So that one we had to like do a little digging. A friend of mine gave me a lead to where it was at, and the fact that it was behind like the state prison and juvenile centers, that kind of gave, you know, credence to where it actually was. So we find it. Again, I was with my friend Eddie at the time, and we went over there, and we pull up, and the first thing that we see upon entering, like not even into the building, just to like the gates and everything, is a dead freaking bobcat. Eddie looks at me, he's all like, bro, like, the Bobcat didn't make it. What the hell, like, chance did we have? I was like, first of all, we're smarter than a Bobcat. Second of all, like, we're already here, we might as well check it out. So, he's like, alright, cool. Seeing the Bobcat, we do what any responsible, early 20s, like late teens person would do. We decided that we would pick up said Bobcat and put it into the back of Eddie's truck for use later. I hate the fact that that's true. Anyway, so we go inside to like the actual area and we're checking out the building. Mind you, this is not at night. Unlike when we went to the frat house, this was during the day. We went during the day. We're going in and we go up towards the front entrance, and the door's locked. Obviously, it has barricades. But the basement looks like it could be accessed. However, there was a freaking mattress, like with a king-size frame, just blocking it. And it was one of the heavy suckers, and we didn't really feel like moving it to like try to get in. So we went around the building. But the little side downstairs basement area was blocked off by a mattress. Weirdest thing. So we're going around, and while we're there, again, this used to be also a firefighter training facility. I found old documents there on the floor about fires that had happened, and showing like where the origin started, and showing how like they would train to like find where the origin was based off the patterns of the fire. It was really interesting and really cool. So we're walking around, we get to the back, and when we're in the back, we see an opening and we go through. So we walk in through, and I don't know if you've ever seen the Silent Hill movie, but the corridors walking down before you see Pyramid Head and Pyramid Head comes out. No joke, that's exactly how it looked when I was walking down, except for instead of Pyramid Head at the end, it walked out to like this little cathedral. So it looked like if it was a chapel, so to say. And in the chapel, there was a little podium, and on it there was like one of those that Christian image picture that's got like the heart with the thorn crown around it with a dagger through it. So that was on there, and behind that was the entrance to the main building where we were trying to go through. So we went in. Mind you, it's just him and I. No one else is there. We walk in. We get into the main building. Remember, the front door is barricaded, locked, and everything. And we get into where would be that front door. Inside, when we walk in, immediately to our right, coming in from the cathedral, there's a little building there's a little room like to the right that would have been like when you walk through the door, immediately to the left, like a little office. That door was open. But we walked past it and went straight up to the stairs, because in the stories that we had heard about this place and the rumors that I had been told is that they experimented on people on the second floor, and that's like where like the haunting and activity was. So I start walking up the steps, and no joke, it feels like something's pressing on me, man. Like I felt heavy walking up the stairs, and Eddie's walking up behind me slowly, and he's all like, this doesn't feel right. I was like, just keep going. So we're walking up and we're walking. I get to the top floor. The instant my foot hits the top floor, the door slams downstairs where we walked past. I was all like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm already on the top floor. It really feels like whatever's here does not want me here. And he's all like, we should go. Like, there was no wind. Like, there's no way that wind could have closed that door. And we're alone in here. We need to go. So we duck out and we rush out of there and we just take off. So after all that, we ducked out of there and we just bolted.
So I got 2 questions for you.
What's up?
Number 1, do you think there's any possibility there could have been somebody inside that one door you mentioned that was open that you decided not to look in?
No, definitely not. Like, we did look in it. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Maybe I just glossed over, because we looked in it, but it's just a room. There was like nothing in this one, so it was kind of like an office type deal. So there was definitely nobody in there. There was definitely no wind for sure. So the fact to hear that slam, Actually, I probably left this out of the story too, just because, when you're thinking about it, but when I came back down, that door was still freaking open. So how the hell it slammed and it was still open is beyond me.
Oh, that is terrifying. Okay. And my second question, what happened to the dead bobcat?
So funny story on that one. Being, again, the respectable, late teens, early 20s that we were, we decided to go and put the dead bobcat on our friend of ours' car.
Dude. That...
When we drove back, like, we had put it in the car before going into the building. And don't ask me why we did it. We just decided to put the dead bobcat into the back of the truck. Then after that, we kind of forgot about it until we looked in the back and we're like, oh crap, because we were in Eddie's truck, and in the back of his truck you could see it. They're like, oh, so yeah, we have that bobcat. And then we drove past another one of our friends, and we saw him, and like he was actually supposed to come with us to and he bailed out on us. So we did the logical thing and just put a dead bobcat on his car.
That is some Texas type stuff. I'm not gonna lie, that is crazy. Oh,
I didn't even know they had bobcats in Texas. That was my first running in with it, and it was dead.
Jeez.
And it was a baby one. It was tiny, so like it wasn't like hella big. It was like, because it was a baby.
Kitten, if you will.
Stupid. Bob Kitten. That's totally the name of this commentary now. So Bob Kitten. It's funny because the dead bobcat, it's a baby, but it's about the size of like a full-grown adult cat. Because it's just a baby. It's just so funny. I mean, it's sad that it was dead, but it was funny, the whole situation. I still don't know what happened that day, like, fully, but 100% that door slammed on us. Everything about that was creepy. We did go back to that site a few times, and nothing else happened. We mostly, like, explored the outskirts. I found this old-school Coca-Cola machine. It obviously was not functioning, but it was still pretty cool. I regret not taking that, but the neighbor nearby actually has a sign says that, trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot again. So that wasn't there the first time that we went. And it was up there the next few times that we had gone. So we decided not to tempt fate. And then they started regulating it more. Actually, I was recently over in that area when I went and visited San Antonio, and I decided to go down there when I was visiting once, and they've remodeled it. They have security actually patrolling that area, and like where we picked up the bobcat, that entrance is now, it wasn't a real entrance, it was like an opening, and it had like overgrown stuff like off the sides, but it was just like a small little path that a person could fit through. Now it's a full-on driveway that goes into it, so it's
so
like,
the city's watching over it now, you think?
Yeah, they're probably actually trying to make it a viable building again for something.
Possibly sell the land.
Yeah, or maybe another institution, which I fully disagree on. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. I might add it into this later, but they may well be trying to like use it for another facility. But the fact that it had already been 3 separate facilities beforehand, and all 3 failed due to like weird anomalies, should probably tell you to stop using this land.
I wonder if it's on an ancient Indian burial ground or something.
I don't really know about all that stuff, and I'm not saying that I don't believe in that, because I personally have experienced these weird things myself, but I don't believe that like an Indian burial ground actually causes hauntings or anything. But because I don't think it has to do with anything with a particular religion or anything. I think it has to do with like the spirit and the person. Because if you think about it, people like that are haunted or haunting, it's a spirit lingering in time, is the way that I see it. And there's something about there that's either unfinished business, or they just refuse to accept that it's the end.
Thank you for joining us on Dormal Talk. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be at you with another episode soon. And as always, have a wonderful day.